you know, make it a little bit bigger on OBS. So I have not had time yet, sir, to take into account your feedback. But I have written it down. I've got it in my notes. I've got test out 2 windows, cut off the bottom, ensure 60 by 19, and a few other little things like that. So hopefully I'll get to it shortly this week. Thank you for the reminder. Alright, it's looking like it's working still. So we do have ray trace directions and all this craziness here. So we should get a collision here. That's what we should be doing. This sweep movement object. So we should probably have our collision up here. And we're going to, I think these are our sweeps that we need to do. A Samsung 27-inch 1080p. The curved monitors? Well, it depends on what you're doing with it. A 27-inch screen, let's see. Those curved ones are pretty wide, aren't they? Like, they're a lot wider than you'd expect, and not as tall as you'd expect. Especially the curved ones. I'd be a little wary of it, because, like, I mean, I wouldn't just buy it online. I would at least, like, go to Best Buy or whatever is in your location and see exactly what that 27-inch type looks like before I'd shell out money for it. But yeah, $200 is the right price for something like that. So my only concern is just, you know, how tall it is and all that. And if that's not a problem for you, then it's probably not too bad. I know I got my dad has a 30-inch curved LCD that I got for him. And yeah, you definitely need 2 monitors at least for coding. It's just a requirement. Modern coding cannot be done on one monitor. There's just too much to do. Alright, so we got that one sweep there. We're gonna need this sweep right here. So sweep 2 position, sweep 2 direction, sweep 2 distance, sweep 2 hits. We're not using the hits, so all we have to do is, if we do hit, we break from the loop and we continue. So this should be continue. Now let's double check on that previous one and make sure that that's actually correct as well. So we broke on both of these things, so yeah, we're good. Total of 4 monitors. Well, that's what I'm running. I got one there, one there, one there, and one there. And that works pretty well for my development. It was not enough for when I was doing server work, though. So get bounding box, update the floor, calculate height. I probably should make another like utility function for this thing for calculating height, because I can definitely see calc height Well, we already have it, so we'll just leave it alone. Snap to direction, snap to floor. So here we also need to do the cached component test. Let's double check the mantling, I didn't screw that up. These are biking gloves. It helps me from wearing on parts of my palm when I'm coding. It's also just something I do because it helps me get kind of into work mode. Something to kind of play with when you're thinking, you know, just mess with your gloves a little. And they prevent my hands from getting cold or anything else. And one of the things with like repetitive stress injuries with coding and all that, if your hands are cold, it can exacerbate any of those problems. So that's the reason. And I get shit from everybody about it. So you have my permission to give me shit for wearing programming gloves. Alright, so we need to double check the mantling codes. So what that means is we need to go run over to these slopes here and double check them. Yeah, it's looking alright. Good. I get more confident that I haven't screwed any of this crap up, so we'll just do the rest of it right now and then test all of it at once. So, test position. Down. Down is G down, so we could just do that. Physics far enough. We don't need to pass in a distance then. And collision is just going to be our collision response. We can just chunk that out. Closest distance to floor. After the sweep in the air, nothing is below us, so we need to do collision dot collision distance. Closest distance to floor, again, is collision distance. Alright, so we'll just use down. And we're doing an overlap test, so we need to snag that. Okay. Going to be suggested new position, and our response is going to be nothing. So like if overlap actually hits something, then set our new position to no position. Else, well, we'll just return true. This is set to suggested position. Good. Thanks for stopping by, Omni. Have a good one. And I will hope to get some time to implement some of your feedback on the channel. And I appreciate the concern. It's preventative, so I don't have to, hopefully don't have to deal with any of that. Slack chat is arguing about my sleep schedule at the moment. The argument is if I'm gaining or losing days based on when I go to sleep. The argument is if you are up longer than 24 hours, you're not living, so many days, right? So you'll live longer, right? That's that's how time works. So I'm gaining days or whatever the hell. Because I usually stay up longer than 24 hours, so my sleep schedule just revolves around a couple time zones every day. Which I think that's the floor motion all converted to non-crap code. At least closer to non-crap code. Everything looks fine. Alright, so we're doing sweep component in the direction, so we need sweep movement object. We're moving from start position in direction, and we're moving move distance plus bigger tiny float. Sweep component. Yeah, so we don't actually have to add in this tiny float, we just have move distance. That's another thing we're testing at the moment, is stuff like that. So if distance is greater than physics far enough, that means that we did not hit, so we're going to do an if not collision. Then we do this. And we have an else. Otherwise we do all of this crap. So what we're going to do instead is now we can just chunk that out. So we can start doing like collision distance for these sorts of things. We can get rid of some of this debugging crap. Internet dropped 60 times in the past hour? You sure you're not like, your internet line is not wrapped around a tree and like strung over a football field, and like every time the tree blows in the wind it just like cuts out your internet? Surface normal. I want to get rid of these things. And we're definitely gonna sanitize all the things before we respond. So do like response dot, let's see, F collision F hit result. That's what we need. So it's going to be dot impact normal dot x 0. It's response.hit. So that should at least do some of those things. Impact normal, impact point. Like, yeah, response.hit.location.x is 0. That should help us out a little bit, so we don't have to keep doing all this craziness. Yeah, and we will need to normalize the impact normal when we're done with that. Yeah, so if response.hit.impact normal does not equal .x does not equal 0, then we'll do that. Skip a normalization, we'll have to. Alright, good job, Scorpion. So, I'm very sure they found a shortened line, refused to fix it. Well, it sounds like you're dealing with people who aren't really doing the best for the customer. So, Nightfall, if you can get in touch with their manager, usually those sorts of things, if you can escalate it to somebody who, instead of having their mind on the current job, has their mind on the brand, they will, $1,000 isn't a big deal to preserve a brand name. Versus somebody who's kind of a lower level manager, $1,000 is just, dealing with some customer they don't want to deal with. So let's see, surface normal should be fixed. So surface normal should just be our collision.hit. Collision.hit.impact normal. Is that what we got? Yeah, surface normal should be collision hit impact normal. Collision distance, actual move, new position, internal set position, new position, internal set position, start position. Alright, so check if stuck. So these check if stucks are all hacks. So we can take out all of them. Well, I'll have to take another look. I'm gonna do a few things first here. So surface normal, yeah, okay, that's good. Surface normal, X, Y, and Z. Dealing with Fairpoint. I am unfamiliar with Fairpoint, but they don't sound very fair. New motion direction equals surface normal. New motion direction dot X should already be 0. These should already be normalized. New motion direction. So we have another sweep right here, which we're going to try to replace. And you can see the code for the movement for in the air is just trash compared to what we had for the ground, and that's because we already went through and cleaned up a lot of the ground code. And we just wrote the air code yesterday. So what is this? It's going to be new position direction, bigger tiny floats, so just the new magnitude, and new collision hits. And we have new collision distance, new collision normal. So we can just get rid of those variables real quick so we get compile errors. So for you, new collision distance should also be removed. So there we go. So if new collision distance is greater than this, so we did not collide, do all of this stuff. No, they're not fair. Yes. So new collision normal should be collision.hit.impact normal. New collision distance should just be collision.collision distance. New collision normal, new collision distance, collision normal, collision distance. That should work. New collision distance is again collision.collision distance. New collision normal. That looks like we've got it, so let's compile, fix our errors, and make sure it actually works. So that was the movement in the air and along the ceiling, so we'll just jump through the curly queue and make sure it's all working properly. Yeah, and coding's just a slow process sometimes, especially when you're dealing with a whole bunch of stuff that you're not really sure how to do. Because if I had already written like platforming physics stuff before and already understood everything that had to do with Unreal's physics engine, I probably wouldn't have written just awful code to begin with. I would have, wrote much better code and not had to then go back and basically spend, twice as long messing with this thing. What the hell is going on there? Is that right? I feel like I got a boost off of that. Like, something happened there where I actually gained speed. What the hell is that about? Does that happen with the old code? So what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna save this progress. I'm gonna actually go revert this file real quick. We're gonna recompile it and we're gonna see if we have the same movement issue real quick. Because Fatsack was gaining speed for some reason when he was colliding with the ceiling with a certain motion. Which is just making me think that there's some friction code that's wrong in there. And we threw the friction code in at the end, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's some problems with it. especially with moving along some weird vertical walls and crap like that. I just want to make sure that my refactoring is not causing that problem. Because if it is, then, well, I can fix it now. That's one of the problems with a lot of complicated code. You start refactoring it, and then all of a sudden, bugs that you fixed come back because you removed stuff you shouldn't have. Yeah. SP game. Nope, I have no idea what that is. They're 13 years old and they play Minecraft and GTA 5. You know, those games are so similar to each other. Yeah, I played like a real nice, you know, creative game like Minecraft, and then I just murder people the rest of the time. That's a nice existence. Oh yeah, I was right in that age group where like M-rated games and all that stuff you could buy them when you weren't old enough. So I remember I rollerbladed to the video store at 11 at night after like stealing $20 to go buy Diablo 2. Yeah, it looks like that bug is still there. Yeah, it looks like that's crazy. You can get more jump by running up a slope. Maybe that's not a huge bug. If you're running up a slope, you can actually jump higher, is what it looks like. Yeah, see, boom. I can move up. Boom. So it's not a bug in the latest stuff, it's just there. So fine. It has great stories. It's also got hookers. But it's about the stories. I mean, the hookers. That's like I went to Steam Dev Days back in October of last year. And they had Tim Sweeney delivering the keynote talking about the metaverse and how VR was going to change the future and how people interact with each other. And he kept emphasizing just how much porn there would be just in this keynote speech. He was like, there's gonna be things in this metaverse that are weird and scary, like pornography, and just there was just something just hilarious about how he couldn't say it like calmly or something. He was just like into just like it's gonna be weird and crazy. It's just like, what, dude, you need to lay off whatever drugs you were on before delivering this keynote. It's not helping you. Alright, so we've got that, and I think we've cleaned up all of the sweep tests for that. Let's go through and see if we have any more sweep tests for things. Maybe he likes angry porn. I don't know. You'd have to ask him. Maybe you should ask him what his tastes are. Alright, so move object is just like a big ball of crap, and we're just gonna leave it as it is. Can jump. Okay, we need to fix jump. That's what it looks like. So start position, and we're gonna go down. Is there any down reefs in here? No. So we're good. So we need the response, which is going to be sweep collision response. Collision. I don't need to know either. But one of the questions was, where are you going to store all the data for the metaverse that's coming? You know, what medium actually is going to be able to support all these things? So we're getting the surface normal, and we're getting the surface normal just, that's the only thing we care about, because we're sweeping down. Alright, so what we want to do is, we've got this, yeah, so the surface normal should be up. If so, like if no collision here, we are going to set collision dot, actually we need a vector here, we need like f vector, and we'll actually call it surface normal. And we're just going to set it to negative down. And yeah, we're going to do if there's a hit, then surface normal equals that hit. Oops, yeah, surface normal equals collision.hit.impact normal. So we can just get rid of this code and start, yeah, we have the wrong thing here. I need down. The closest distance to floor is not even used. Down is not used. Surface normal we already have. Start position is just position. So nothing crazy there, and it's G down. Where are you? There you are. And that's going to be the interesting thing about if VR takes hold and changes our entire life, so that we're all just sitting around with headsets on and crap like that. So we're going to nudge out of the object by the surface normal, and where we're gonna store all that, because the problem with like a big interconnected virtual reality universe thing is storage and latency. Latency is huge. Like, you can't interact with somebody over the network very easily, and if like your storage system is way far away, that's going to be a big problem. It's also a huge bandwidth problem. Like, virtual reality and the rest requires very high fidelity stuff. So we'd have to vastly change our infrastructure, and you'd imagine like you'd have an appliance in your basement, like you've got a heater, you got a water heater, you got all that stuff. You might also have, kind of like Tesla's Powerwall in your home, and it'd just be like a little appliance or a big appliance that just gets installed and has a whole bunch of electronic crap that in storage that just, there you go, it's just in every house. I wonder if something like that'll happen eventually, where you've got your, like your internet hookup grid, kind of like if you get Fios or some other fiber optic thing, they get a big box in the closet that you shove there. It's like, yep, that's your metaverse hookup, brought to you by the government or something like that. So if no hit, then we set it to test nudge position, and we're good. And we can just get rid of this scope. Demolition Man is probably one of my favorite movies. Just It's just so dumb, but it works. Like when Phoenix is shooting him at the end in the cryo chamber, and he just gets pissed off and slams his like laser gun into the floor, and it like starts firing, 10 times more lasers. And it's just like, what the fuck? there's just nothing better than just how the logic in that movie worked, because it worked. It just fit together. Everything made sense in its own screwed up way. It's everyone's favorite somehow. It is. It's because it's amazing. It's like, I think I've got like a DVD of it, and it's like one of those crappy DVDs you get from the store in the bargain bin. So it's like double-sided, so it's got Over the Top and Demolition Man on it. And Over the Top is another movie that's just absolutely trash. Don't watch Over the Top. It's actually bad. Demolition Man is bad, but it's like, it's bad in a really good way. Just make sure that that's correct. Yeah, he's supposed to get stuck on that wall. I wonder if I should put some stuff in there to not jump so high if you're not holding the button. Yeah, we'll do that later. So you need like a list of physics things to add, and one of those is variable jump height based on holding the jump button. So we need like an intent to jump thing, or we need like some sort of air control in the z-axis for your velocity, which you can affect a little bit. Yeah, I don't think that's the one with the broken arm. That's the one that's just all about arm wrestling. That's just really stupid. Like it's Stallone arm wrestling a bunch of people to like get a truck so he can be a truck driver with his kid or something. And his thing is he turns his hat backwards and then he wins. That's like his getting focused, and he goes over the top, and it's so stupid. It's so bad that it was an inside joke in Molten Games all the time. It was just go over the top, man, go over the top. It's like, what the fuck are you saying? It'd be like, I don't know. Like you're coding that thing. You should go over the top. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Go over the top, man. You'll win. Go home. I think I'm going to have to take a short break here. It's been 2.5 hours since we started, so I'm getting pretty hungry. And we have successfully moved all of our sweeps and all that crap out. And not broken absolutely everything. So I'm pretty happy with that. This is move object. Alright, we're going to take move object and just like throw it at the bottom of the file, because I don't want to look at that crap anymore. We'll look at it as a reference later, just because it's got the animation code in there. But we need to fix update locomotion and air. It's like Mantle is very explicit in what it's doing. We could probably clean it up, but it probably doesn't matter. The compiler will deal with that for us. So we need to break up that big function, and I think, yeah, we'll be good to go. Alright, later, Karakan. Alright, I'm going to go. Let me think. What am I going to do? I think I'll go start cooking some food. You know, put it on there and then come back. So I will be just a couple minutes and then I'll be back. Yeah, good point, Scorpion. Alright, well, I'm back for a little while. Probably just 5 or so minutes. So let's get started breaking up a couple of these functions real quick. Alright, so the big one right now is the update locomotion in the air. And it is just all sorts of just a mess at the moment. So let's fix all of the things. Yeah, we just had a ton of stuff in here to clamp all the things and debug crap that was going on. We just like kept messing with this like check if stuck just everywhere yesterday. Just like, why the hell do we get stuck on walls? This crap. So let's see, we have this big ass if else statement, and then we set the current velocity to the new velocity and we return sometime. I think we're just gonna get rid of some of this stuff. So we can at least get rid of this if else with a return. Alright, so why don't we just say, like, if we haven't collided, just move in the air to our destination position. Very simple. Very simple. Start position equals that. End position is start position plus velocity times delta t. The direction is end position minus start position. New velocity should always have a 0. Is there any reason for us to Like, do we ever change new velocity? Yeah, we changed new velocity all over the place. So, yeah, there is a reason to have new velocity at all. Direction.size is just going to be new velocity dot size times delta t. So we do actually need to calculate the size of that, so that is a thing. I don't think we need dir.x though. We just need to do like new velocity at x equals 0, whatever. So that's correct. So the outward nudge is the collision impact normal times the ground jump nudge, which is fine. Check if stuck. If we are not stuck, then set ourselves to the outward nudge position. So push ourselves up in the air by a very small amount. Okay. The actual move distance is going to be the collision distance minus a very small float. So new position is going to be start position plus that. Is there any reason for us to check if we're stuck with new position? Is there any reason to... We're moving ourselves to the point of collision. Alright, so if this is greater than this, we should just like set ourselves to that position. That's what it's looking like to me, because we're like setting ourselves to start position, so we can get rid of this. So actual move distance divided by that, so we need sub delta t, we need extra delta t. Can land is what we need to figure out next, so if we can land, then we will land. So we need to return here and set current velocity to new velocity. And then we can get rid of this if else here. One scope at a time. So, we cannot land. This is either because we're moving up on the surface or the surface is not landable. So we will set our position to our new position. Didn't we just already do that? Yeah, so we don't need to set our position. We've already set our position. Check